Welcome back, everyone, to another Division Breakdown episode. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris Ronan. How we doing? How is Vegas?
Oh, I'm doing good now. I wasn't doing good a couple days ago. I feel like that long weekend in Vegas, it's just like a 2-day hangover afterwards.
That's a whole different
flying
world.
out is just amazing. Like, you flew out 7 a.m. and you land at 9 a.m., but it's a 5-hour flight because of the time zone change, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when I come back on Monday, we get on the plane at 11. We don't land till like 7:30.
Oh.
So your whole day's gone. So that's kind of a wash. But Vegas is just a lawless wasteland, and if I never go back there again, it's probably a good thing. But it's definitely an awesome, once-in-a-lifetime trip.
I heard New Orleans is like that, too. I heard New Orleans, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. I think Vegas is a lot dirtier than New Orleans, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, the Strip's pretty bad. Yeah,
Really?
It's pretty rowdy. Pretty rowdy there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would not. I would just wouldn't.
I mean,
not have thought that.
there's all like the flashy entertainment, like showbiz area of it, kind of, and then there's like, a block down the road. It's kind of tough,
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't really venture outside too much. We did a couple pool parties. I mean, hotel, casino.
How was the heat? You were telling me the heat.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Different heat.
It's 90 there, but it feels like New England 70 because of how like humid it is here.
Oh,
When it's like, I'm sorry, not 70. I should say like 80.
Yeah.
A New England 80 with the humidity, it feels like it's like 100 degrees. But out there, like a 90 and there's no humidity, it's just like dry.
this is fine.
It's not bad.
Ah, interesting.
Not like I'm walking down the strip, I'm not like sweating through my shirt,
So you had a good time?
Yeah, definitely.
How was
Definitely
all
a
the
good time.
betting? You showed me a few Snapchats of like the betting areas.
Yeah, it's
Holy
awesome,
God.
dude. Like everywhere. Like you get off the plane in the airport, there's just slot machines. Like not even joking.
Like right in the.
Yeah, the second you like come off the little runway to like get onto your plane, the little tunnel. I don't fly often, as you can tell. I don't know any of the fucking lingo, but when you get off the plane, the second you're in the airport, there's just slot machines, everything.
It's like Vegas. Like we're gonna get these degenerates as soon as they get off the plane.
Yeah.
I know exactly where the money's going.
But I mean, I was smart about it. I don't play the electronic things. I just feel like there's something iffy about that. Just it's a big computer that you're playing on. You're gonna tell me that they're not playing with the numbers a little bit,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I also saw a number. I'm gonna butcher this one, but Vegas makes 239 point something million. I think it was million. Maybe it's it must be billion per year off of the slot machines. But the next closest thing was like Baccarat, which I don't know how to play, and it was like 100 billion, 100 million, whatever the number was. So the gap is massive.
Yeah.
It's just like that's basically how they like pay for everything there.
That's
like that
incredible.
covers all of their expenses and stuff.
Stuff like old people just like.
Yeah.
fucking,
Just sit there and
just
pull,
sit and pull and see
smoke
what
a butt
happens.
inside and just keep going.
Just hang up.
I didn't end up getting my sports bets off just because I got a little timid, I think. I didn't really have any backing on the NFL games. I didn't really want to learn how to use a sports book to do a college football game. So,
Right.
but I did watch the games at the sports book. It was sick. There were like a million TVs.
Dude, yeah, you showed me that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's a different vibe there because you sent me that and I sat there and looked at it. I'm like, oh, like.
It was packed, too.
You're seeing it as just like entertainment. They're all seeing it with like tickets and everything. They're like, I'm going to win a bunch of money with this, Different vibe.
One of the guys on our trip put $1,000 on the Celtics to win the championship this year. Yeah. I think the payout was only 5-1 too, so he's getting $5,000 if they win it all.
Oh, wow.
But if they lose, he gets nothing.
Nothing?
There's $1,000 down the drain. Like that's not great odds. I don't know. Just me.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Nope.
I wouldn't have done that.
No, I'm not a gambler whatsoever. I don't even do scratch tickets. I don't
Yeah,
even play the
scratch
lottery.
tickets.
Yeah.
Scratch tickets. I see a lot like the electronic games too. I feel like it's just a numbers game that's rigged.
No.
They did roulette, which apparently is like one of the worst odds you can play for a Vegas table game.
Oh, really?
I hit 500 on that, and then I sat down and played live poker at the table. Hit 600 on that.
Ooh,
so,
nice.
yeah, paid off a little bit of the expenses. Not all of them, but
nice.
Yeah.
How was poker, by the way?
It was awesome, man. Yeah, really good time.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
You've talked about that a few times with the podcast here with like Danny Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth there, and so
I love it, dude. Poker's so much fun. It's just like now that I have like an actual like table win at Vegas, like I feel like I could play. I'd just be a fish if I showed up and tried though.
you're gonna have to show me because I'd go there just lose a shit ton.
Oh,
of money
yeah,
and be
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
Screw this.
You gotta like really know. Like I've been playing since I was like I didn't even realize my brother reminded me since I was like 12. There was like a PlayStation 2 game where you're like on a riverboat like just playing poker, and I like
What?
loved it for some reason. I was
Really?
like all about playing poker on PlayStation 2 when I was like 12, 13. It was the worst game in the world, but I was like
Somebody
all
said you
about
were
playing
hooked.
poker. Yeah,
Just one of those games.
yeah. So I didn't realize I've been playing for like 16 years, I guess. So
That is hilarious.
put some effort into it and see where it takes me.
You have to show me. I have a few guys that I work with that like go to the casinos here. The one in Everett there. The hell's I can't remember. Oh, Encore. We go
That's
to the-
basically where we stayed in Vegas. Was the Encore Win.
Oh,
Same
really?
company, yeah. Same
Nice.
kind of similar building too.
it's a different mentality. They lose a lot, and then they win some, and they're like, look how much I won. I'm like, yeah, but how much did you lose to get there, you know?
But I think a big part of that is compartmentalizing, like, this is my gambling money, and, like, don't dip into the other stuff.
Into it,
this is my bankroll, and just live with that, you know?
If you get out of it, like, if you run dry from the gambling money, do not dip into the other funds. That's when you get in trouble.
Yeah, you leave and then come back later once you've built up another bankroll.
You figure it out. Yep. All right, so enough about gambling, enough about Las Vegas. Las Vegas we'll talk about next week, but this week we're going to be talking about the Central Division. And ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
So, for the Central, the teams are the Colorado Avalanche, the Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues, Dallas Stars, Nashville Predators, Winnipeg Jets, Chicago Blackhawks, and Arizona Coyotes. Oh, and for everyone listening in the past 2 episodes, trying to figure out injuries here. There's been injuries that we've missed. I've seen comments on our YouTube channels, and from the websites I've been using, like, it's not updated. Finally, one of the websites that I use, it was finally updated yesterday on the 15th. So there's going to be a good amount of questionables to start the season, which is good news. I've seen a bunch of, like, won't come back till November, December, but a lot of these are going to be questionables, and so we're going to throw them in there too to help everyone out to what it's going to look like for the beginning of the season for these guys.
Perfect.
So, with that said, you want to start off with the Colorado Avalanche?
Yeah, we're going to take this from the top. We're going by the NHL 2021-22 season standings. So the Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche finished first in the Central last season with a 56-19-7 record. They put up 119 regular season points, first in the West and second in the league. Their head coach is Jared Bednar. So they lost a few players this offseason. Andrei Burakovsky to the Seattle Kraken, Jack Johnson to the Blackhawks, Nazem Kadri to the Flames, Darcy Kemper to the Capitals, and Nicholas Aube-Kubel to the Maple Leafs. They ended up signing Arturi Lehkonen to a 5-year contract. Josh Manson re-signed for 4 years. Darren Helm re-signed for a year. Goalie Jonas Johansson from the Panthers signed a 1-year contract. Brad Hunt from the Canucks signed a 2-year contract. Anton Bleed from the Bruins signed a 1-year contract. And Evan Rodriguez from the Penguins signed a 1-year contract. The only trade they traded their 2022 third and fifth round picks, as well as their 2023 third round pick to the New York Rangers in exchange for goaltender Alexander Georgiev.
Nice.
You want to start it off and let us know what you think about the team?
Yeah, I love the fact that they picked up Erod. Remember we were talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I'm sitting there like, why the hell did they not sign him? And then this week, guess who picked him up?
I tell you what, I think it's a great slot in for the Nazem Kadri. You know, the other thing that took all offseason to get resolved. Nazem Kadri out, Evan Rodriguez in. They're not the same player at all, in my opinion, but it's another, skilled player to slot into your roster and add some depth.
Right, 100%. A lot of times when you see teams win the Stanley Cup, a lot of the players fall off. Like, they don't sign them because they're on the last year contract or they get traded a lot. You see big names here like Burakovsky, Jack Johnson, Nazem Kadri especially, Darcy Kemper. Big names there for the Colorado Avalanche that got him there, but not as much as you normally see. So the Avalanche are kind of looking still good in my opinion right here.
I agree. I think the central core, like, these guys are definitely good, like top tier players in the league, but not superstars. So the superstars that they have in Colorado can live to fight another day without these guys around them. Mm-hmm. But the only thing that I'm questioning here is the players coming in. I don't think that a lot of them, fill the stopgap of who left. Like Jonas Johansson coming in replace of Darcy Kemper. That doesn't seem like an even slot. No. Evan Rodriguez is really the only player I see coming in that seems like they're going to fill in and, still put up some production.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Arturi Lehkonen too, Josh Manson, Darren Helm. These just great re-signs. Definitely looking like a Tampa Bay Lightning in my eyes.
Yep.
The past when they won the Stanley Cup twice, you kind of saw the exact same team both times. So they're taking like the Tampa Bay Lightning route, and it's good to see. Good to see the Avalanche compete because I did really like to compete with the Avs and Lightning. Kind of want to see it again, to be honest.
The only thing I'll say, right? You look at the Tampa Bay Lightning; they're stacked offensively. You look at their defense; they're stacked defensively. You look in the net, and they are set with Andrei Vasilevsky. The net is the real only question mark for this Colorado Avalanche team. Mm-hmm. You're really gonna have to lean on Pavel Francouz and Alexander Georgiev.
Yeah.
I mean, It sounds like a really good tandem on paper, but we'll really see how they slot in behind these guys.
Yeah, Francouz for sure. I got this from last season. Only played 21 games due to a low body injury. and then a face injury caused by a teammate trying to clear the puck, which ended up hitting him in the face. So you're going to see this a lot with the Central. Now that I'm picked up with all the injuries here, a lot of these guys are just playing through injuries. And Francouz here, now that Darskip is gone, exactly what you just said. It's Georgiev and Francouz. And, yeah, they're right. The net tandem is going to look a little iffy here. And I don't know if the Colorado Avalanche can be that non-net needing team like they were last year.
I think they can be. Like we said, their star power seems to be able to get the job done. Cale Makar in front, plus 48 on the ice, 5th best in the league, and 1st in the league for defensemen in goals.
Right.
So I think that he can definitely get the job done on both ends of the ice for this team.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, the roster here, and it's just, it's still just incredible. You just look down defense, we see Cale Makar, they're good to go. Devon Toews. Talking about questionables, Samuel Girard's going to be questionable to the start of the season for anyone who wants to know, but it's just one questionable, and I don't think that's going to matter at all for this Colorado Avalanche team coming in,
Yeah, and when I'm going to set up my, my rankings for the Central Division, I didn't really want to put them first again because I don't see it as a feasible opportunity. But I don't think there's anyone that's really going to knock them down a peg in this division. No. So I just have them back in at their number 1 seed.
Yep, same here.
Cool.
You look at all the teams, and they're just these guys are just not going to move much anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that, too, after finishing up the Atlantic, where just, the West is going to be, I don't know what put words in your mouth.
I'd say weaker.
Yeah,
weaker is the word I would go with.
Yeah.
I think the East is going to be action-packed, and the West is going to be a tier below, in my opinion.
Yes. So for everyone, be prepared to see an Avalanche just like the Tampa Bay Lightning, except definitely not like last year's Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm talking about first in their division Lightning.
We're gonna get to it after next week's breakdown because I feel like we want to break down every team and then look at this. But I actually got asked by someone today. You don't have to answer now, but my answer to it. He says, Who do you have winning the Stanley Cup? And I said, I can't really answer that right now where I still have another couple weeks to look at these teams.
Right.
But I did say for the finals matchup, I could totally see Colorado and Tampa again.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't think of anyone else that's going to, knock them off. But the only thing that I had, to rebut that statement is as long as you have a playoff ticket, that's all it takes to go to the Stanley Cup finals. Right. Anyone can get in once you're there.
Anyone.
So I don't know. We're gonna do Stanley Cup Finals and Stanley Cup champion talk after the breakdown next week too.
We could be completely wrong. These guys could just have a hangover from the Stanley Cup, and just fall down a bit and be
like Abe Kubel.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take a quick flight north to go up to the Minnesota Wild?
Let's do her.
These guys finished second in the Central Division. Wow, tongue twister there. 53-22-7 record, 113 points on the season. Second in the West and 5th in the league under head coach Dean Evanson this season. Players lost were Jordy Ben to the Maple Leafs, Nick Bjugstad to the Coyotes, Nicholas Deslauriers to the Flyers, goalie Cam Talbot went to the Senators, Dmitry Kulikov is on his way to the Ducks, and Kevin Fiala to the Kings. The players signed, they really only had a few players that got signed from their farm team, the Iowa Wild. But they did have a few trades here. The Wild traded Kevin Fiala to the LA Kings in exchange for the 2022 first-round pick and defenseman Brock Faber. The 2022 first-round pick was Danila Yurov of the KHL. The Wild traded goaltender Cam Talbot to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for goaltender Philip Gustafsson. And lastly, they traded away Dmitry Kulikov to the Ducks in exchange for future considerations. My favorite player in the league.
Guy gets bounced around so many times in the
Suitcase.
league. It's insane. I don't know how I feel about this Wild team. You lost a lot, gained absolutely nothing, and I feel like the Wild is just going to fall down. I'm not too sure what their plan was here. They lost big players here. Nick Bjugstad, Deslauriers, the main goalie Cam Talbot, although we talked about him in the Fleury situation where Talbot wanted out, so that kind of made sense. Kulikov and Fiala. Fiala's kind of fallen down a bit, but Kulikov is still kind of up there. So great pickup by the Ducks. But I don't know. You think you're going to lose these players and try to pick something up to pick up the pace there. And I don't know. I think you're going to see a fallen down Wild team. And I don't know where to go from there. You know?
With you saying all this makes me want to bump them lower on my rankings. Yeah. I do see them a lot like the New York Islanders. I think they looked at the team and said, let's run it back. I want to see what this group can do. Yeah. But then they also took the time to give away 6 guys that I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago were pretty big names around the league, but now they've kind of lost their shine, the top part of their game.
Right.
The only guy that I think stands out to me is obviously Cam Talbot, but Nicolas Deslauriers, and it's not because of what he does, on the stat sheet. It's what he brings on the ice. He brings that fear factor of, like, don't hit my guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll be all right without that. Like, that's not as big of a hit as his name brings, I think.
Right.
So that's really where I stand on it. I think that they definitely got worse before they got better.
And to top this all off, too, they're going to have a questionable. There's 4 players that are questionable here. And a big one here is Kirill Kaprizov. He's questionable to start the season. And then you have Matt Zuccarello, who's questionable. Jordan Greenway, who's questionable. Jared Spurgeon in defense is questionable. So
those are all big.
Those are big, and that's just questionable. So they could start, but if they don't, you're missing key guys, especially Kirill Kaprizov to really pick up the slack from all the plays they've missed,
And I think if there ends up being a timeline on their return, that can really set them back a bit. If the team gets off to a slow start, that can screw the whole season over early without even realizing that, like, oh, crap, we went, I don't know, call it 3-7 in our first 10 to start the season. Now we're, more than 10% of the way through, and we're not looking so hot,
Oh, yeah, exactly, 100%. And then we just want to talk about goaltending situation, too. The Philip Gustafsson pickup was pretty good. I did like him for the Senators. But let's go to Marc-Andre Fleury here. Not really saying much. Not .908 save percentage, was his 5th worst in his career. And 2.90 GA, which is also 3rd career worst between the Blackhawks and Wild last season. So hopefully Fleury picks it up. He's going to need to with a team like this. I hope, maybe. And Philip Gustafsson is not like Cam Talbot, where he could be like that solid backup, I think. I feel like Philip Gustafsson, but I don't know. I don't know if he's like the same guy as Cam Talbot there. So
the only thing that I think might help them a lot is Joel Eriksson-Ek and Marcus Foligno, Jordan Greenway is your 3rd line. That's a pretty deep roster, when everyone's healthy. And I think on defense, too, Matt Dumba, Jonas Brodin for your starting top, and then Jared Spurgeon when he comes back in the second pair. I think that they're looking good on paper, and, like, looking at their offseason moves, I want to bump them further down my list, but I think I'm happy leaving them in the 3rd seed on my list.
Oh, wow.
Where do you have them?
I have them 4th.
4th, yeah. That's where I am thinking about bumping them down to, but I think I'm going to let them stay where they are, and I just don't know if I were to bump them down who I would bump up, because I don't think this division is – I don't think anyone really got much better here. No. I think a lot of these teams either stayed the same or got a little worse.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But one player I do want to bring up is Brendan Duhane. When I was doing this breakdown for this team, I came across Brendan Duhane, and I didn't realize, dude, 10 fights. He led the team in penalty minutes with 122. He had 6 goals and 11 assists in his first NHL season. Dude, imagine this. Okay, first NHL season, 6 goals, 11 assists. Yeah, pretty decent. 10 fucking fights.
Yeah.
That is, like, showing that, like, hey.
And what I liked about it, too, the highlights that we were watching before this, they weren't like, oh, you want to go, like, at the face-off dot just for no fucking reason. Like, this is the guy that's stepping up when, Matt Zuccarello gets laid out, and he's the guy that really comes over and says that's not all right. And that's going to be big. He's going to have to do even more than that next season with Nicolas Deslauriers gone.
Yep.
Because he's going to have to be that role enforcer. And, hey, maybe that's why Deslauriers's gone. They saw Brandon Duhane come up in the roster and said, you know what, this guy can do the same job for less money, and we can develop into something more.
Right.
Rather than watch, Deslauriers ride off into the sunset at the end of his career,
It's really like, I don't want to say it, but it kind of is, like an old school hockey mentality, too, where you have this guy to come in and get stuff done, a lot of teams don't have that anymore. If we're talking about a player like Evander Kane or something like that, or just it'd be like 1 or 2 plays that we talk about that's just on 2 different teams. Not every team has that guy. And Brendan Duhane is that guy. So I'm going to like it. I can't wait to see more Duhane fights. He's definitely he's that guy. He's the John Scott guy, getting it done.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
So, yeah, I got him down. They really fell down for me when I was kind of doing the breakdown here. So, again, I have the Wild in 4th. You have them in 3rd?
I do have them in 3rd, yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I forgot they were, like, in 2nd in the Central. I was, like, going through. I'm like, wait, is that a... It's like, oh, yeah, holy God, they were doing really well. Kaprizov really helped out with that, too.
Yeah, I think I might have a good post-to-post picks for us, too, here. He played 80 games last season, this Brandon Duhane. Do you have him more or less than 10 fights this coming season? Because if he didn't play the whole season, I wasn't going to throw it out there, but... What do you think?
Ooh.
If you want to go with that one, or we can do something else. Or we can go by Pims, too. He's at 122.
Oh, I like the Pims.
Pims,
go
yeah.
Over that?
More or less penalties?
I'm going to go more Pims.
More, okay.
Why, are we thinking less?
I think he's going to have to step up and put more up. But I think I'm going to say less and probably bank on an injury or something. Bank on him missing some games. Maybe sent back down to the minors or something.
Okay. Brandon Duhane. Nice. All right, so I got more Pims for him. I think a team like this is going to need a guy like that, you know?
Yeah, I think so, too.
In my head. So
I'm really only saying less because you picked more, and I think it's lame to pick the same thing. It's more fun to look at it and see us, one of us be right and one be wrong.
You could be right. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about injury, too, all those fights. How the hell did he play 80 games with 10 fights? Didn't get injured once? Jesus.
Yeah.
He's got head of steel. Good God. That reminds me of the time I shook hands with Sean Thornton. I tell you about that time? It was
Bear paws.
Oh, my God. Bear paws one. It was like shaking a boulder, by the way. You ever shake hands with a rock? That's exactly what... I'm like, Christ, who the hell got hit with these? I don't know how the hell they're still, like, awake, like, alive, just in general. Good God. So, I don't know. More Brandon Duhane fights. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready to move right along to the St. Louis Blues here?
Let's do it.
Third in the Central last season, 49-22-11 record, 109 points, third in the West, and fifth in the league. That doesn't sound right. That might be a mistype there. Pretty sure that's
second in the West.
Yeah, that's the same thing we just said about the Wild, so that's wrong. But either way, they have their head coach of Craig Berube. They lost two goaltenders in the offseason. Charlie Lindgren went to the Capitals, and Ville Husso went to the Red Wings. He actually took David Perron along with him over to the Red Wings. And Mackenzie McEachern, Jesus, we didn't look that name up. McEachern, thank you, to the Hurricanes. They signed Nick Leddy to a re-sign, actually, for 4 years. Goalie Thomas Greiss from the Red Wings to a one-year contract. Noel Achari from the Panthers to a one-year contract. Nico Mikola to a one-year contract. Klim Kostin, one-year contract on the re-sign. And Jordan Kyrou, 8-year extension worth $64.9 million.
You were waiting for that.
Yeah, you like that one?
Going through the names.
Notable UFA for this offseason, too. Tyler Bozak, career low, 3 goals, 9 assists in 50 games played. He had a lower body injury in March. Entered the league in 2009 with the Maple Leafs.
Oh.
And the only trade they had here, the Blues traded goaltender Ville Husso to the Red Wings in exchange for the 2022 third-round pick. And that pick was defenseman Michael Buchinger of the Gulf Storm in the OHL.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sorry I butchered that.
No worries.
I was just burnt out when I was getting into this division here.
Copy paste.
Mm-hmm. Same
little copy paste action. That's fine. Happens.
Copy paste. Yep. So moving on, we got they lost again. Lindgren and Ville Husso here. Ville Husso is the big loss here for the St. Louis Blues because want to go down here to the guy that we love here, Jordan Binnington. Dealt with COVID and knee injuries last season, and another questionable to start the season. And Ville Husso really picked up the pace for missing Jordan Binnington last season, and I think the loss of Ville Husso is gonna hurt the St. Louis Blues. Thomas Greiss, loved him with the Detroit Red Wings. Is he as good as Ville Husso? Ooh, that could have been a post pick.
Is Thomas Greiss as good as Ville Husso? Yes.
Yeah. You think so too?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't think so. I think Ville Husso is better than Thomas Greiss, in my opinion.
I mean, last year. I mean, small sample size.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I'm gonna write that down. Think about that tonight. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like goaltending is gonna be questionable with the St. Louis Blues yet again with this team. I kind of kept them in the exact same spot, kind of. We just talked about how you either just stay the same or just get worse. And I feel like the Blues are kind of just going to stay exactly where they are.
All right, so that's what I was thinking. You know, that was my initial look at it, but then I did a deeper look at it, right? Mm-hmm. Vladimir Tarasenko, I'm pretty sure he didn't have too hot of a year last year. There was a lot of locker room talk, a lot of captaincy issues, things like that I think his mind wasn't focused on where he needs to be. Yeah. Robert Thomas had an amazing year. Jordan Kyrou and Ryan O'Reilly is just steady Eddie. Brandon Saad, Pavel Buchnevich, This team is a lot deeper than we give them credit for, I think. Nola Chari centering the fourth line, I think, is going to be good for them, too. On defense, too, Krug, Scandella, Parayko, it's all pretty good. Bortuzzo and Nick Leddy are your third-line D. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
The loss of David Perron is going to be pretty big. I don't really think the loss of Ville Husso is going to be that big. And I was trying to figure out, they didn't trade him, right? Did he walk as a free agent? I forget what it was. I'm putting you on the spot. But regardless, if they traded him, they sold high on him. If he walked, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, a Thomas Greiss is another one of those backups that's a suitcase a little bit. He's bounced around the league, and guess what? He's the same exact stats career-wise as Ville Husso.
Right.
A 9.12 and a 2.72. Ville Husso over 2 seasons, 2.72 and a 2.74 and a 9.12 save percentage. Last season, Greiss had a shit year, 3.66 and an 8.91, but not on one of the best teams in the league, you know?
No.
Older guy, 36 years old, kind of on the back nine. But I do think he's another stopgap. Allen, Elliott, Halak, he's in there, I think.
Yeah.
So I kind of see them stepping up a little bit. I think their younger guys are developing pretty well, and I bumped them up another slot this season. They're going to finish in the 2 seed for me behind Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You didn't even talk about the injuries either, because I'm going through looking at the injuries. It's like, ooh, maybe like a fully repaired. What am I trying to say here?
Jordan Binnington, right? Coming off of last season.
I'm just talking about. I'm looking at defense here. I'm talking about Torrey Krug suffered upper body and lower body injury last year. Marco Scandella lower body injury and undisclosed. And then Robert Bortuzzo did with undisclosed and upper body injuries last year. Like, the defense just really hurt. Then you have Nola Chari with upper body injury. Clem Costin upper body injury. Like, these guys are just like injured throughout this entire season. So maybe now I'm thinking about maybe like coming back with like a full blown, ready to go roster might bring them up a notch.
That's what I think too. If they can avoid injuries, maybe that'll make them, even with that too, think about it, right? If they finished third in the Central last year with all of those injuries, and they always like make the playoffs, they always squeak in and have a not decent run, but like they're a competitor, man. Like, people go into St. Louis and they don't really want to match up with them, I think. I think they're one of those sneaky teams. And
Ooh.
I think, like you said, like the injuries that they had last year, there's only, 2 questionables to start the season, or 1? Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's that bad. And, maybe one of them does start and one doesn't. So
Again, questionable doesn't mean they're not going to start.
Right. So I think that these guys are going to come back well-rested, better than last year. The vets are going to do their usual thing, and I think the young guys are going to step up even more than they did last year.
This is like the third week in a row I've done the 1 through 8, and the more we do it, the more I'm like, oh, I regret what I've done.
Yeah, I definitely still am questioning Minnesota a lot. I definitely still want to move them, but I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Once it's on there, man, like, mine's set. I'm not
mine's
touching
set
it.
too, because they're 5th right behind the Wild, the Blues.
The Blues, you bumped them out of the playoff seats,
I
huh?
bumped them out.
Wow.
Oof. But the more we talked about them, I was like, man, I might have messed up here.
So you kept Colorado in the 1, St. Louis in the 5, and Minnesota in the 4. Is that right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to write yours down so I can keep up too.
Yeah. So me or Chris could be right. You never know next season. But yeah.
That's a big swing, though. 2 seed versus 5 seed.
Yep. Healthy lineup is going to help out a lot of these teams. And maybe that's what the Blues need.
Yeah, and I didn't see, a timeline on all of those guys, but I do think, like, when you get into the playoffs and you're playing, even if it's one more round, like, those 6-7 games that you play in the playoffs are just so much different than the regular season.
Right.
You're bound to end up with 1 or 2, 3 injuries,
Right.
because of it.
Could you see another cup run like they did in 2019? Within the next 5 years, maybe?
Yeah, I think their window is closing, but yes, I would say within the next 3 if it's going to happen.
There'll be like some kind of at least run.
I feel like the passing of the torch of like David Perron and who the hell is the other one? Oh, there's another older guy that was on the roster for a long time. I think the torch is starting to get passed to like Ryan O'Reilly, who's getting ready to like train and groom the next guy, pass it on. I think their window's closing, and they need to get these guys up to speed a little quicker than they want to.
With that said, they do a good job with like the veteran players, like the veteran presence, like that.
Yeah,
like it's a veteran team, but also at the same time they mix in like young guys too. Just be like they learn.
I think it's a healthy mix.
Guys.
Yeah,
you're right. Yep, and I think that's might be the only reason why they're just. It's like a good mix that we're talking about, but at the same time, I don't think it gets the job done. Like a lot of these good teams, a lot of like the better teams, they're all young stars with just like not even a handful of like the veteran guys, helping the way. Whereas the St. Louis Blues, they are just more than that. They're almost half almost half the roster, I'd say. I like the veteran guys, like the other half are like the rookies coming up, or just like the guys who've been in on the team or at least in the league for the past few seasons, like learning from the guys.
Right.
It works, but I don't think it's gonna work in the long term for like a Stanley Cup run, maybe. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like, it's almost too spread out, but like,
Yeah.
but it's also not, because you can't lean to be too young when it comes to the playoffs, because you don't have that veteran presence. You need veteran presence, and if you're too old, you're too slow. So
Right.
I think they're the healthiest mix. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I see, though.
Okay.
Real quick, one thing that I'll say is that the St. Louis Blues haven't missed the playoffs since the 2017-18 season, and before that, it was the 2010-11 season.
Wow.
So they've only missed the playoffs once in the last 10, 11 years.
Wow.
So you have them out. You have them out this time
I'm
around.
out this time around.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Take it away down south, going to the Dallas Stars. 4th in the Central with a 46-30-6 record, 98 points in the league. 7th in the West, 15th in the league. Their new head coach, Peter DeBoer, is replacing Rick Bowness.
Ooh.
They lost John Klingberg going to the Ducks. Hated to see him go.
Yep.
Vladislav Nemesnikov to the Lightning. That's a good pickup for them, I'd say. Ben Bishop to the Sabres, which is really just his contract because he is now the player development coordinator for the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Radulov went to the KHL. That's kind of surprising to me. And Michael Raffel went to the Swiss League. Wow, tough to see.
Right.
I think that, before we go on, I think that might have to do with how weird of a season they had last year and how shaky the organization kind of was.
Dallas just in general.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been real weird. The owner's calling out the players and stuff. So.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah, good call.
It's been like 2 or 3 seasons in a row, or not in a row, but when they're bad, he'll do that. It's kind of fucking weird.
Right.
It's almost like it doesn't work, man. Stop doing that. Players signed this offseason: Mason Marchment from the Panthers to a 4-year contract, Colin Miller from the Sabres to a 2-year contract, Will Butcher from the Sabres to a 1-year contract, and goalie Jake Ottinger re-signed a 3-year contract. That's great for them.
That was the big one.
Notable UFAs right now: Jason Robertson, surprisingly, 41 goals last season, tied for 9th in the league, 38 assists in his second full NHL season. And Braden Holtby suffered a lower body injury in March, missed the remainder of the season. It's likely he'll not play come this season, but retirement could be a possibility here.
So be on the lookout for that. I'll be curious if I would be curious if Braden Holtby gets one more, but I think we're going to see Braden Holtby retire. As for Jason Robertson, that's the big one here. He's RFA. I messed this up. It's not
That's
UFA,
fine.
RFA. But I right before we started recording, I looked it up, and there was some talk that he's looking at a 4-year contract.
I'm thinking like
because-
6.5 mil.
I guess with the cap space that they have, they're looking at like a 4-year thing for
Yeah.
now, and then maybe later down the road give him like a extension. you know?
Yeah, it's nuts. I feel like all of these guys around Jason Robertson's level, like the guys that are young, that have performed and proven themselves a little bit, but not enough for a big contract, $8 million's the number.
Mm-hmm.
But like a Jason Robertson on this team, I'm seeing like 6.57
Easily.
is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
And then the Stars traded, like I said, that contract and technically Ben Bishop, their 2022 7th-round pick together to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for the future considerations.
Whoa,
And
getting bossed around again.
yeah, and to hire Ben Bishop back as the
as the
player development coordinator. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at for the Dallas Stars this season. What do you got for us?
I got them down the list on my one through right here. Let's see. So again, lost the big players here. Radulov, Raffel, Nemestikov, Klingberg. I'm like, whoa, okay. Who are they gonna pick up? Mason Marchment was a great pickup. I love the re-sign from Jake Ottinger here. I think he definitely deserved it, but that's not a pickup. And then Sabres, Colin Miller, Will Butcher. These 2 guys are supposed to pick up the pace for the guys that they lost here. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Stars, to be honest. Jason Robinson, again, still not really signed. We want to go down a list of questionables here. I think this is one of the top questionable teams that I think I put up. Rupe Hintz is questionable to start. Radek Vaska is questionable to start. Luke Glendening is questionable to start. I mean...
That's a lot right there, though.
That's a lot right there.
On top of Jason Robertson not having the contract signed, which I do think will get resolved. But, yeah, I think I was feeling a lot higher about this team than I should have. I just thought after last season, like the underperforming kind of like bullshit that went on, I thought that it would be a fire under their ass this season to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm like more accurately thinking about it, I don't think this team's going to do it. I think that they should be down one more spot on my list.
They just don't have the guys to score here. I'm looking at like
They do, but they don't. The guys that are the guys to score here aren't fucking scoring.
Yeah.
Like it's Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin just like getting laid every night. Oh wait, they got married. Didn't he get married this offseason? Like
I think so.
he's just too busy. I don't know. That's bad of me to say, but
Tyler
we're gonna have to
Seguin's-
cut that out, I think.
Yeah, Tyler Sagan's kind of looking the exact same, which I don't mind. Just keep doing his own thing, but I think he does need to pump those numbers up a bit. I don't know. Dennis Garanov, 11 goals. I don't just you gotta pump these numbers up. Here, Luke Glendening, 9 goals. Joel Kiviranta, 1 goal. But that's only in 56 games played. Jacob Peterson, 12 goals. Marian Studnick, 9 goals.
You say that's only 56 games played?
In only 56 games played.
1 goal in 56? No, that's not good. That's
You gotta get these guys. You gotta get these players to really pump.
I
up
love their
numbers
back
there.
end though, like Heiskanen, Hakanpää, Lindell, Ryan Suter. Like, I think they're looking pretty good defensively. I really do think it's just offensive production. Something needs to click here.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I want to go back to Marian Studnick because I'm looking at the notes that I have here. I kind of gave him a shit for 9 goals, but I think that's even less because this is between 4 teams: the Devils, Utica Comets, Stars, and Texas Stars. Got bumped around all last season, so that's probably way less than 9 goals he had. But I mean, when you bumped around from team to team, it's hard to keep at the pace with everything. So I give him a break with that. But you need a Stars team that's gonna pick up the pace here, goal wise. And we need it from the Dallas Stars because I still think the Dallas Stars, although they're getting better defensively, I could compare them to like another Toronto Maple Leafs where it's a mainly offensive team. They need to get that shit done.
I think they need to be, but they're not right now. They're mainly defensive team,
Yeah.
You were absolutely right. He had 1 goal with the Dallas Stars in 16 games, 1 goal with the Devils in 17 games last season. His other 7 goals were in the AHL.
Yeah.
I think he's just kind of that guy that's getting pulled up a little bit too soon. He's not that young though, 23 years old, and I say that now because the new NHL, man, like you got to be like 19 and like they send you straight to the Wolves and they want you to be the face of the organization.
Right.
It's nuts. Imagine being 19 years old and having to like even just like speak to reporters after games, never mind like perform your heart out every night, day in, day out. I don't know. A lot of pressure. But
what the hell were you doing when you were 19?
Yeah, I know, right?
Getting anxiety attacks, talking to someone online,
pretending like I wanted to be a fucking pharmacist.
but
I think Jake Ottinger and Scott Wedgwood. I'm not upset with that tandem. Is that where you're heading next?
That's exactly where I was going next. I'm not upset with that at all. I think Scott Wedgwood. We've talked about Scott Wedgwood a lot on this podcast, and Scott Wedgwood's going to be a solid backup for Jake Ottinger. Jake Ottinger is actually 9th best in the league with his GAA of 2.53 last season. Hopefully Jake Ottinger can keep that up, and you have a solid goaltending tandem with that Scott Wedgwood and Jake Ottinger, in my opinion. How do you feel about that?
Yeah,
Same thing.
I thought the same thing too. His stats aren't really showing it. 913 save percentage, 3.05 GAA.
Mm-hmm.
In the Yotes, the same season last year too. It's a 911 and a 316. So a couple tough teams though. I mean, I don't hold it against him, but I think Jake Ottinger's definitely a solid player though.
Yeah.
I have these guys in at the 4 seed, and I don't really have much more to say on them.
You have them in the 4th seed?
Yeah.
I got them even lower. I got 6th.
6 for the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm. There's a few guys I want to kind of bump around here, but too late. We'll figure it out.
I think Dallas needs to come down, but I still need someone to come up and bump my Minnesota down. And I don't know if anyone's saving them from these bottom 4 in this division here.
Ugh.
So we have the Nashville Predators coming in next, 5th in the Central with a 45-30-7 record, 97 points, only 1 less than the Stars last season. 8th in the West, 16th in the league. Head coach is John Hines. A little side note here, they had the most fighting majors in the NHL last season with 59. The second closest team only had 36 fighting majors, and that was the Anaheim Ducks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I was doing this.
Smashville, right?
I didn't realize Smashville had that many fighting majors.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, what the hell did we miss?
Yeah, the offseason had them lose a few players too here. Matt Benning went to the Sharks, Nick Cousin to the Panthers. Goalie David Riddick is over to the Winnipeg Jets. Matthew Olivier to the Blue Jackets. Philip Myers to the Lightning. Grant Mismash to the Lightning. And Luke Kunin to the Sharks. They signed goaltender Kevin Lankinen from the Blackhawks to a 1-year contract. Nino Niederreiter from the Hurricanes to a 2-year contract. And Yakov Trenin re-signed a 2-year contract here. Mm-hmm. The Predators traded Matthew Olivier to the Blue Jackets in exchange for their 2022 4th-round pick and their 4th-round pick was Cole O'Hara of the Tri-City Storm of the USHL. They also traded Philip Myers and Grant Mismatch to the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for Ryan McDonough. And lastly, Luke Kunin to the San Jose Sharks was in exchange for John Leonard in their 2023 3rd-round pick.
I like the Ryan McDonough pick up there. I've always been a fan of him since the New York Rangers.
I don't know how much he's going to do. I think he's past his prime.
Yep.
I think he's the next Zdeno Chara,
I'm
honestly.
with you on that.
But I do love the player. I love the guy. He's kind of like that old school grit, I think. He's like willing to get in there and do the dirty work.
Right. I mean,
we'll see.
We're going to look at his stats here. He had 4 goals and 22 assists last season. So he's kind of still getting it done as a defenseman, like play-wise.
Stay-at-home defenseman, break the puck out, and let the forwards go to work.
Exactly. So this Preds team, we talked about me being like a kind of like a Preds fan, and I think that's the reason why I'm kind of biased here, and I kind of shot him up a bit.
Ugh.
But the more we talk about this, the more I was like, we'll see what's going on, because Nick Cousins, don't really care too much about the David Riddick loss. That's fine. But Nick Cousins to me and Philip Myers, Luke Kunin those are kind of the 3 big player loss for the Nashville Predators, in my opinion. But the goalie, I think the losing David Riddick and picking up Kevin Lankinen from the Blackhawks is great. The Chicago Blackhawks right now are just like an open market. You can just be like, you want this player? Here, take him. I'll give you someone for him. Nino Niederreiter, huge pickup for the Nashville Predators. Yakov Trenin re-sign was good. I don't know. I just I want to bump them up, and that's exactly what I did, because I want to see another Predators ready to go playoff run that we saw a few years ago with Pecorine. Just couldn't get it done.
This is the one team that I think I would flip with Dallas because, I mean, honestly, they finished 1 point apart of each other.
Yeah.
I have them in the 5th seed, and I think that they're just going to be the same team that they kind of always are this year.
Mm-hmm.
They did pick up Nino Niederreiter, and I think that's great and all, but, he's coming from a team like the Carolina Hurricanes where, that's one of the teams that their big problem last year was they didn't have that star power. And now you've taken a guy that you probably paid, not out the nose for, but you get this guy over here, and he's not that guy there. He's not going to be that guy here.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to slot in nicely. He's going to play well. He's going to put up his points, clock in, clock out kind of guy, in my opinion. I think he does have a little bit of flair to his game that brings attention, but it's not the guy that gets the job done, gets him over a hump, per se.
I think offensive-wise, I think they're doing really good here.
I think so, too.
Tyler Jeannot, 3rd in the league in PIMS with 130. He led the rookies in goals with 24 and had 17 assists in his first full NHL season. Great for a rookie.
Wasn't even in the runnings for Rookie of the Year, too, which is nuts.
Wasn't even there. And then you had Michael Granlund. Didn't really get much done goal-wise, 11 goals, but had a career-high 53 assists. So as a player, just getting shit done as a playmaker. Nino Niederreiter last year, 24 goals, 20 assists. Matt Duchene here, 8th in the league in goals with 43 assists, and also tied for the 3rd in the league with power play goals with 16. Matt Duchene getting it done.
Yeah, that is super surprising, dude.
Is huge.
This is something that people have been waiting on for 10 years, I feel like. Matt Duchene has been the guy that was supposed to pop off for all these teams that he's been signed to.
Just stuck in his cocoon,
Yeah, everyone knew that there was something there, and I don't know how at 31 years old that he just popped off last season.
Mm-hmm.
But the closest he's ever had in goals is 30, I believe. And he's had 47 assists before, but it's baffling. I didn't think that he was that. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, honestly.
Yeah.
He only played 34 games for the Preds last year.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
And he still got that thing done. And then
I'm sorry, 2 years ago. He played 78 last year, full season.
Yeah,
43
that's
and
what
43.
I was thinking too. I was like, I don't have that note down here. But Philip Forsberg, I'm going to just jump off of Matt Duchene here. Career high season also with 42 goals and 42 assists.
Like him a lot.
So those top 5 guys, especially Tanner Jeannot, a fucking rookie, getting it done scoring-wise too, you need it. I mean, we were just talking about the Blues. We were just talking about the Wild. These guys just don't have those guys that can score, whereas what was it, 2-3 lines of forwards, just that can get it done.
Yeah, they can roll their forwards for sure. That's definitely good.
And I just want to roll. Are you done with the?
Yeah,
forwards?
I think defensively, Roman Josi, one of the best defensemen in the league, kind of got overshadowed by the young guys, but unreal stats on him, right?
Yeah, he had a career high season, 5th in the league in assists with 53, and 2nd in goals amongst defensemen with 23. Roman Josi just unbelievable.
With Dante Fabro as his partner, which I know nothing about. That's not to disparage him, but I mean that's crazy, you know. Matthias Ekholm, I do like on D. I think other than that, they're kind of weak defensively. I also, like I said, don't think Ryan McDonough's going to come in and change the game. UC Saros, Kevin Lankinen in net, not bad.
No,
I'm all right with that.
I'm perfect with both. I love UC Saros. I've talked about being. I think Pecorino really helped with UC Saros, and that's why you see the UC Saros we see today. So
I agree.
Obviously, UC Saros is unquestionably like the starter for this team, and I think one of the best goalies, one of the top 10 maybe best goalies.
That might be tough.
Might be a little tough call right there.
I think top 20,
15?
which isn't that great. I don't even know if I'd say 15.
Yeah,
I got to look at that. Know what we should do?
What
we should rank the top. Let's do the top 32 goalies in the league.
Okay.
Because it's not going to be all the starters, right? There's going to be someone that has like a really good tandem that you're going to mix up and say,
yeah, who's a backup?
Yeah.
Like, where the hell did you come from?
Right,
you know?
but he's going to be in the top 32.
But I think when you do the stats, you got to figure something out. Be like, it has to play at least 20 games or something like that.
Yeah.
Because like you're gonna put like
just like NHL Network does, just your top 32 goalies in the league.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we might not go over every single one of them. That might be boring for some listeners. Maybe it'll be like a little side piece, like a 20-minute episode that we do.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
All right. So, where do you have them? Are they second or third?
Third.
All right, good. I was gonna say you're psycho if you put them in fucking second. Geez, you're a psycho anyways. But regardless, oh man, you're sending me for a loop again here.
I don't think anything as crazy as last week.
Buddy, the next thing you're about to do to me is going to be fucking crazy. So, but Nashville in third. No, that's fine. I mean, I think those three are really where I'm looking. That's that middle area where we're like we don't really know what's going to happen. You know,
yeah.
Because like we definitely have the bottom set. I think the tops. We'll get to it, but
yeah, we'll get to it.
I think Nashville in third can happen.
Yep. I want to see the Preds back in the playoffs, baby.
Yeah.
Smashville.
They were in last year, but yep.
Yep. I want to see those white towels. No, they weren't.
They were in the playoffs last year.
I'm just kidding.
All right, good. All right, you ready?
Yeah,
let's go north of the border here. Winnipeg Jets, 6th in the Central, 39-32-11 record, 89 points, 11th in the West, 19th in the league. Head coach is Rick Bowness coming over from Dallas, replaces Dave Lowry. They lost Paul Stastny to the Hurricanes, goalie Eric Comrie to the Sabres, and Evgeny Svechnikov to the Sharks. They signed goalie David Riddick from the Predators to a 1-year contract, re-signed Jansen Harkins to a 2-year contract, re-signed Pierre-Luc Dubois to a 1-year contract, and re-signed Mason Appleton to a 3-year contract. No current off-season trades.
Mm-hmm. I like this in a weird way for the Winnipeg Jets. You might not. I think Evgeny Svechnikov, I know he's a big name. I think he's a big name for the Carolina Hurricanes, but if you look him up on like his hockey DB or whatever, I think he's been falling. Statistic-wise, has really been falling. Eric Comrie is going to be a big loss. I really like Eric Comrie. I think if Sabres are going to really appreciate him and Paul Stastny. But for the signs, David Riddick, which is just okay to me.
Dude, I think that's a better backup than Eric Comrie personally. But that's also the guy that you told me you turned a Winnipeg Jets game on to watch. You said it wasn't for Connor Hellebuck. You said it was for Comrie.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep, I remember that. So I do like this. This is a team, another team that is just absolutely like injury riddled. And I hope they come back like full blown, ready to go. And you're going to get that team, the Jets team that these Winnipeg people love, gets them right back on the top of the division there. That's in my head here too. Because in my notes, man, I just have dealt with this, dealt with that. Like, Connor Hellebuck. All right, I just kind of want to go through real quick, like Cole Perfetti here. He missed some time with the upper body injury. Nikolai Ehlers missed some time with a knee injury. Mark Scheifele missed a game on COVID protocol, a leg injury, and upper body injury, and it is questionable to start the season. Blake Wheeler dealt with a knee injury. Going down here, Mason Appleton dealt with a lower body injury. Further down, we have Logan Stanley, who dealt with a lot of lower body injury and undisclosed injuries. And like this team was just throughout the entire season was just injured, and it's going to affect them a lot.
Kyle Connor single-handedly took this team and dragged them up, and put them into this 6th seed that they were in last year, and that's saying something, you know. I just don't like that production was amazing. Don't get me wrong, like. Kyle Connor last year he got a lot of media attention, a lot of spotlight from the NHL, but I would say probably one of the most underrated players around the league last year. Like, I don't think nationally he was like covered and given enough spotlight for the job he was doing. It was like a Taylor Hall, New Jersey Devils MVP kind of season, but he didn't, qualify for playoffs, so you can't do that.
Yeah.
I think Pierre-Luc Dubois needs to step up. Mark Scheifele, going to be a weird season. Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler, like they stripped the captaincy. There's no captain on this team now. That was news from today. Nikolai Ehlers I like, but bottom six, not looking very good for forwards, I don't think, personally.
No.
And then on defense, Neil Pionk, Nate Schmidt, and it kind of falls off from there. I don't really like their defensive pairing.
No.
I do like their goaltending. That is probably their bright spot on this roster, the goaltending, and Kyle Connor.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me, though. Like, I don't know. I can't put them anywhere good. They're in my 6th seed.
No, we want to talk about players that you say just don't get enough appreciation. I still think that way for Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck's just been unbelievable for the Winnipeg Jets.
Connor Hellebuck gets so much appreciation
from Winnipeg fans. I don't think when's the last
from
time we
nationally. He's one of the best goalies in the league statistically.
I'm with
He's
you on
always
that.
in the runnings for the fucking
I'm with
Vezina.
you on that. But when's the last time you've just scrolled Instagram or just anything and like you've just seen a Connor Hellebuck like appreciation post?
No one does that. I'm talking like about the league, like nationally. Like
right.
He gets plenty of attention.
Okay.
I think. That's my opinion.
So. I don't think though. That's just in my head.
I mean, he's got a career 916 and 2.69. That's fucking impressive.
Insane.
That's good.
Yeah. So to top it all off, what I wanted to say too is last season with all those injuries, that was his second worst career save percentage with a .910, which is insane, and worst career GA, which is a 2.97, also insane.
No, hold on. You got these stats all messed up. You said worst, right?
Second career worst.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm reading it backwards. Thank you.
Yep. And I just really wanted to say I put this in there for me. Worst isn't really worse. I just wanted to point out and show the fact that he can have those stats with an injury-riddled team.
Yeah.
And it's just insane what kind of a goalie Connor Hellebuck is. It's remarkable, And that's why I think was the last time we just like I'll randomly just sit here and be like, hey dude, I was watching this Connor Hellebuck video the other. Like I don't think I've ever said that. But then like I'll watch like a Winnipeg Jets fan I'll watch like a Winnipeg Jets game and I'll be like, oh dude, this Connor Hellebuck guy is so fucking good.
Yeah, I just think he's good. Like I don't know. I don't see the same issue. Like I just think that he's just that good. He's just on a team that isn't good. So they're not going to cover it. He was the Vezina winner in 2019-2020. Like he got plenty of spotlight when the team was good and when they were making playoff runs, but they never took it home and they never really got anywhere further than the Western Conference Finals, I think, that one time. So at the end of the day, why are we going to sit around and talk about that guy that much,
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have them in
Just
the
my
6th seeds.
thoughts. You know where I got him.
Where do you have them, Matt?
Second. They're right below the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, my God. You're so crazy, dude. You do the craziest shit, dude. You just bumped them up 4 fucking seeds.
I think we're going to see a full recovered team, Winnipeg Jets team. I think it's going to be a different look for the Winnipeg Jets next season.
Who's going to be their top defenseman at the end of the season?
Good question. It's either going to be Josh Morrissey or Brendan Dillon, in my opinion. Nate Schmidt's kind of fallen down a bit, but I think Nate Schmidt will be there to help out with making plays and shit. So like kind of like
Yeah.
an offensive defenseman, kind of,
Oh, boy, dude. Bottom 6. Jansen Harkins, Adam Lowry, Mason Appleton. Morgan Barron, Dominic Toninato, Christian Vesalainen. What can you tell me about any of those players, dude? How can you put them in the 2nd seed with that bottom 6? They are not deep at all. And then when they do, eventually, someone's going to get fucking hurt. Like, they can avoid injury more than they did last season or be the least injured team in the league. There's still going to be an injury. This isn't good. This is not good. This smells and spells disaster for Matt Small.
Don't worry, Winnipeg Jets fans. I'm here for you. Chris isn't.
He's got your back.
I got your back. Second.
For no reason.
Second. I'm sorry I can't put them further because the Colorado Avalanche are still the Colorado Avalanche, but we're second. We're good to go.
No, what's going to blow this all up is when Dustin Byfuglien says, I'm back, baby. Comes in and revamps the organization. Everyone's like, fuck yeah. He gets the C, dude. They just slap the captaincy on Byfuglien.
It's like we were just going to get rid of it all season, but here you go. Take it. Just a massive C. Just right on the chest.
Oh, my God.
Take it, Dusty.
That is potentially crazier than your
No way.
Toronto
No way.
in first.
No way. Toronto was my home run Yeah,
I don't know.
Toronto,
I'm gonna weigh this out. I got to see how next week goes, dude. What are you gonna throw me next week?
I don't know. Toronto was my curveball. I was like, how can I kind of be crazy with this? I'm like, Toronto, number one.
It's possible.
It is possible.
It could be. I don't know. I think they have the worst goaltending in their division, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
The Chicago Blackhawks, 7th in the Central, a 28, 42, and 12 record, a whopping 68 points, 14th in the West, 27th in the league. Head coach is now Luke Richardson, replacing Derek King. They lost Alex DeBrincat to the Senators, Kirby Dach to the Canadiens, goalie Colin Delia to the Canucks, Eric Gustafsson to the Capitals, goalie Kevin Lankinen to the Predators, Dylan Strome to the Capitals, and Dominic Kubalik to the Red Wings. 7 players.
Yeah, you got to say that quick just to save us some time here. We're already 55 minutes in.
They signed Max Domi from the Hurricanes to a 1-year contract, Andreas Athanasiou from the Kings to a 1-year contract, Colin Blackwell from the Maple Leafs to a 2-year deal, goalie Alex Stalock from the Sharks to a 1-year deal, Philip Kurashev re-signed a 1-year deal, Caleb Jones re-signed a 1-year deal, and Jack Johnson from the Avalanche to a 1-year deal. I don't really think I want to rattle off all these trades. I think we're good.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, it's
basically all the things that I covered up there, and we talked about it earlier.
Just basically picks, so yeah, good to go.
Yeah, they had a fire sale. Everything was for sale for the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's see what this line combo looks like. I haven't even looked at this one yet. My goodness.
Oh, they picked up. We could do this trade though. The Blackhawks traded their 2022 second round pick to the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for Peter Mrazek and their 2022 first round pick. Mm-hmm. So they did have a pickup with Peter Mrazek from that trade. So, yeah, how do you feel about lost before he gets signed here? A big loss here. I mean, we just talked about the Chicago Blackhawks, how almost in an instant they were just like, we're gonna do a total team revamp here, and they were just fire sale.
Poor Seth Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Seth Jones, man.
That's all I gotta say.
He signed that fat contract. He was looking really good. I thought it was great for him to go over to Chicago. I think that could have been like, hey, look, we have this stepping stone in one of the best defensemen in the league to pair with Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, our awesome roster of like aging veterans. Pass the torch on. He can be the next Duncan Keith, the next face for our defensive pairings. And just, my goodness. Let me just rattle this off. Kurashev, Philip Kurashev, Lucas Reichel, I don't know, Patrick Kane for your top line. Athanasiou, Toews, and Taylor Radish, pretty good second line. Tyler Johnson, Max Domi, Colin Blackwell, Boris Kachuk, Sam Lafferty, Mackenzie Entwistle. Dude, I don't know, man. This is tough. Peter Mrazek and Stalock in net. Couple average backups. I don't know, man. Chicago coming in at number 7. I don't know how much time I can spend on them.
I'm with you on that. I think the Blackhawks going to come in at number 7. And for everyone who's been paying attention, I think we all know what's going to be coming up with number 8. But, yeah, man, I feel so bad. Like, you're just rolling down here to Seth Jones. You're like, oh, man, like career high 46 assists last season, just like ready to go. And then, like, this offseason.
That's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't expect that.
For defenseman 2, Jake McCabe is expected to be out until at least November 23rd. He had a career high of 18 assists last season, so on a big defenseman, that's just going to be lost there for a little while. And then they're picking up, I should say, he had 15 games played last season, but it's Alex Vlasic, who had 1 goal, 1 assist, coming straight from Boston University. So just like 15 games, and like this team is just like, yeah, you good, just going to throw you right in there instead of just like kind of letting you.
They don't really have any other options, man. Like, here you go, have fun. Let's do that hockey.
Right, exactly. And let's talk about goalies here, which is going to be probably the worst thing that we're going to talk about. He missed 6 weeks with a groin injury, played 20 games with the Maple Leafs with a 12-6-0 record, 3.34 GA, and .888 save percentage. Now let's jump over to Alex Stalock.
That was Peter Mrazek's stats for you listeners, too.
Oh, I didn't say it. Sorry, my bad. And then for Alex Stalock, wasn't expected to play last season due to a heart condition. Played 1 game with the San Jose Sharks and 17 games between the Bakersfield Condors and San Jose Barracudas last season. What are you doing, Chicago?
I did like Stalock a lot.
Goalie?
I did like Stalock a lot. I mean, if he's coming back and he's bouncing back, why not?
Why not?
I thought he was a very good goaltender. So, I mean, if he's willing to sign a contract and stick his neck out and say, "Hey, let's do this,"
I think Peter Mrazek's a great goalie. I mean, a groin injury for goalies too is It's gonna hurt him in the long run. And then what do you have? Peter Mrazek, Alex Stalock? Like, how long before Alex Stalock is just like, dude, I'm gonna be in IR? Sorry,
yeah,
with my
I don't
heart
know,
condition.
dude. Peter Mrazek, I think he was a good goalie. I think he's fallen off quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good year with the Hurricanes when he had a good team in front of him. We talked about how bad he played for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And I think it's not going to get better in Chicago. You don't have that good of a team in front of him, so that's going to be tough. We'll see. And I feel like he's one of those guys that gets injured a lot, Peter Mrazek. So maybe when the going gets tough, Peter Mrazek throws in the towel and says, fuck it, I'm hurt. I'm hurt, air quotes.
I'm hurt, buddy. And
We'll
then,
see.
I don't know if you talked about Jujhar Khaira here. Missed the rest of the season after lower back surgery in late February. He's actually still currently out, but questionable for the start of the season. So I don't know if he's even going to start next season, especially after back surgery like that.
Yeah.
Philip Kurashev, too. Blackhawks, like 6 goals, 15 assists. Like, that's like your top brass right there.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not looking good. Jonathan Toews out with a concussion in mid-February. Career low, 12 goals. I mean, I can't really say career low when you're out with a concussion like that.
This is getting
but-
depressing. Can we go? I'm ready to leave.
I'm sorry, Chicago, but this is exactly a team you're gonna have.
It's going to get worse.
It's gonna get worse, and it's this exact team you're gonna have when off season, your organization is just like, we're gonna just dump everything and just restart, like rebuild, and like poor Jonathan Toews is just, and Seth Jones is like, all right, where the hell do we go from here? You know?
Patrick Kane too.
Patrick Kane. Wasn't there talk about Jonathan Toews wanting out?
I would think so. I think everyone wants out.
Yeah.
I think everyone got out. Now there's like 3 guys left, like stuck holding the bill.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, man. I kind of regret what I did now.
Why? What, you want to put them in second seed?
No.
Chicago going to finish in the second seed? All right, Arizona Coyotes, 8th in the Central last year with a 25-50-7 record, putting up 57 points, 16th in the West and 31st in the league, so they were not the worst team in the league.
Oh.
Head coach Andre Tourigny, I know much about him as I do the players on this roster. They lost Phil Kessel to the Golden Knights, Hudson Fasching to the Islanders, and Ty Emberson to the Rangers.
Phil Kessel's going to be a big one. Right before I looked up his stats for Arizona, and he led the team in like assists.
Yeah, there's going to be a big celebration this year for him 3 different times, hopefully. He's reaching milestones, I believe, 400 goals, 600 assists, and 1,000 games played, all in this season, like early. So
That's awesome.
I'd like to see him get them all on 3 separate nights so they could be like, yeah, you know, like over and over again. They did sign a bunch of players. Not a lot of impact on this, I don't think. Lawson Krause re-signed a 5-year deal. Bokanji Imama re-signed a 1-year deal. Nick Bjugstad from the Wild, 1-year deal. Josh Brown from the Bruins to a 2-year deal. Troy Stetcher from the Kings, a 1-year deal. Laurent Dauphin from the Canadiens, 1-year deal. And goalie John Gillies from the Devils to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm. At least they're making some effort here with the Arizona Coyotes.
They made an effort there, but they didn't make an effort with these notable UFAs of Barrett Hayton, 10 goals, 14 assists. Jay Beagle is a notable UFA here. Louis Eriksson, Alex Galchenyuk, Antoine Roussel, goalie Hari Sateri, and Anton Strawman. A lot of decent names there. Like 5 years ago, you could make a pretty decent roster with those guys. I think Jay Beagle could still potentially be something too.
Yeah, Jay Beagle I kind of threw on there. He was out since December with core muscle surgery. And I didn't realize this, but he's been in the NHL since 2008. Won the Cup with the Capitals in 2018.
Yep.
So I'd be curious to see what happens with him. Harris Sateri is also up there. Harris Sateri was that backup when
Toronto
/ Arizona Coyotes last season, where the Coyotes were just having an awful, awful time figuring out goaltending. Vegemelko was their guy.
They still haven't figured it out, in my opinion.
Still kind of haven't figured out. And I think Sateri, although his stats don't look too well, I think he definitely deserves like another opportunity with another team, probably as like a third string or something like that, or some team that will allow him to develop as a goaltender. Because I really do like Harry Sateri there. But yeah, like big names missing out here. Like again, Galchenyuk, Roussel, Strawman. Jesus.
Yeah, I think this is another island of misfit toys here. I do like Clayton Keller a lot, Nick Schmaltz, Jack McBain. Those 3 guys stick out to me. Lawson Krause too, actually. They got a lot of good young guys, I think. I think that the talent was there at one point. No one really to help them grow and develop, though. That's going to be an issue, I think. Zach Cassian coming over from the Oilers gives them a little of a intimidation factor. Nick Ritchie, Andrew Ladd, surprising. Nick Bjugstad, like all these names kind of seem like, could I'm butchering it, but I guess, like, I don't want to, talk shit, but the league kind of has-beens.
Yeah.
Like Shane Gostisbehere, Jacob Chychrun, like, these are all guys that not has-beens, but they're like what could have beens, Like, they could have made it, and now they're here. All on one team together. Like, if this team was divided up and one or two guys from the roster went to each team around the league, they'd fit in pretty well and fit in with their teams and perform, I think, But I think just it doesn't jive here. It doesn't all mix. There's no star power and there's no veteran presence.
A team of third and fourth liners.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to start somewhere.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
I don't know here. I just don't know. To jump into the roster here, Nick Schmaltz, career high 23 goals and 36 assists. Missed the beginning of the season with an upper body injury, returned in December. So to have a career high 23 goals and 36 assists and still miss 3 months is pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, you got Clayton Keller is questionable to start with a leg injury. Travis Boyd, Lawson Krause, who's also questionable to start. Barrett Hayton, Jack McBain, Nick Ritchie, who's questionable to start this season. Nathan Smith, Zach Cashin, Andrew Ladd. Andrew Ladd was the last time I heard Andrew Ladd, but he's also questionable.
You Winnipeg Jets, bro. Kidding me?
Yep, that's right. That's right, bud. Christian Fisher, questionable to start. Another questionable.
Are you a Canadian?
I don't know, eh?
I think you are, dude. You're just hammering the Canadian teams. This is wild.
Loving them?
Yeah, dude. Man. Yeah, Toronto, Winnipeg. What are you going to give me next breakdown? Vancouver going to be up there? They're going to win the division?
Can you imagine? I already told you Thatch Demko from the West.
I know.
That's my thought. Still sticking to it. I've been seeing some videos on him, though. I'm like, maybe. We'll see what happens. But I don't know, man. Just like it's Coyotes is still in their rebuild. Do you want to say rebuild? Because
they're down there.
They're down there, but I don't know. One thing I do want to bring up though is Karel Vejmelka here too. I did like watching him as a goalie. I think his stats don't say it, but when you're on a shit team like the Arizona Coyotes and how fucking bad they were, I think he really stepped up as just a goalie who's just thrown into the fucking wolves in his first NHL season. I think he did pretty well for that team. I think he definitely deserves a starting spot for the Arizona Coyotes. But they picked up Ivan Prosvetov, who's the Coyotes' fourth-round pick in 2018. Last season played 3 games with the Coyotes. Last season played 3 games with the Coyotes and went 0-2-1. And then for the Tucson Roadrunners, played 45 games and had a 15-22-5 record, 3.66 GA and .880 save percentage.
Yeah, so the farm doesn't look too good either, huh?
Nope. So I don't know. I don't know what the fuck the plan is for the Arizona Coyotes here, but I'm expecting the exact same Arizona Coyotes team as last season. That is exactly my thought with this team. I kind of like, same thing with like Chicago Blackhawks. Like, we could sit here and talk about the names. We could sit here and talk about the stats. We could sit here and talk about the goalies. But in reality, it's just like, for everyone listening in, it's going to be the exact same Arizona Coyotes team.
Yeah.
And it's not going to look good for another few
It's
more
not going to look
seasons.
good for the NHL. And Gary Bettman needs to give it the fuck up.
Yep, 100%.
I don't know.
ASU, they're going to sell some tickets there.
I was going to say I was proud of you for not bringing up the stadium thing again, but you fucking blew it. God damn.
You gotta with the Arizona Coyotes. Like, can't get worse.
Ugh.
Can't.
All right.
How about the Quebec Nordiques?
Rattle them off.
Talking about Canadian teams.
Rattle them off.
How about we bring them back?
Go down your list.
How about we bring back the Quebec Nordiques?
What's your 1 through 8?
Arizona Nordiques. All right. So that's it with the Coyotes, and let's do the 1 through 8 for us. You ready for that?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Should I go 8 to first?
No.
No. Well, first.
No.
Okay. All right. So my Central 1 through 8. Number 1 is the Colorado Avalanche. Number 2, the Winnipeg Jets. Number 3, the Nashville Predators. Number 4, the Minnesota Wild. Number 5, the St. Louis Blues. Number 6, the Dallas Stars. 7, Chicago Blackhawks. And in dead last will be the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, so I got Colorado in first, St. Louis, Minnesota, Dallas, Nashville, Winnipeg, Chicago, and Arizona. So the biggest divide we have here is St. Louis. For me, is second. You have them fifth, and for you have Winnipeg second, and I have them sixth.
Interesting.
Other than that, not too far off. Dallas swung a little bit. I have them fourth. You have them sixth. So That's what we're looking at for this Central Division.
Yeah, St. Louis Blues. I kind of want to go through what they were. Yeah, I bumped down the Wild from 2 to 4, the Blues from 3 to 5. I mean, that's kind of what it was. Like, we talked about that in the beginning of the episode. We're just like, you either stay the same or it got worse, and that's exactly what the hell we're looking at now.
And that's why I think
the Dallas Stars. Yeah,
that's why I think it was the hardest one to shift people around, because you're like, at the end of the day, like, why are you going to get more wins than this team?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of these teams are taking their puzzle pieces and getting them on the table, and now this is the year that they start to put it together.
Yeah.
You know,
the two teams that had you going was the Winnipeg Jets and the Nashville Predators for me. I bumped those two teams up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, just my thought here. 6. So the Winnipeg Jets from 6th in the Central to 2nd in the Central. Just throw them.
Wait, you did that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
You had them as 6 and bumped them to 2?
No. This is from like last year. There was 6.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna bump them up to like 2, and like the Nashville Predators were 5th, and I bumped them up to 3rd. That doesn't seem so bad. 5th to 3rd.
That doesn't,
bad.
because it's a 1-point swing to get to 4th with Dallas from
but
last
I think
year.
the Jets is what we're talking about. Is that big swing?
Yeah,
right
and to see St. Louis fall off as much as you have them, that's kind of nuts to me too.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to know what everyone else thinks too. Like, if anyone could just like in the comment section or just on like one of our DMs or like the post like email, just like let me know what you want through 8s out for like these divisions.
Yeah.
I'll be curious. I actually be curious what everyone else thinks. I'm sure we'll find like a lot of people that just like have very different opinions on what if, and maybe put some notes on there and be like, why do you have the Coyotes as first in the Central? Because I really want to know. Give me a full-blown paragraph of why the fuck you think the Arizona Coyotes are going to be first.
I had a listener send me. They texted me about. They said, your reaction to Matt picking Toronto first was hilarious, and then they sent me the screenshot that I told you about, how it was like the 8 goalie tandems in the Atlantic, right? Is it the Atlantic? Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent me the 8 goalie tandems in the Atlantic Division, and they were like, Toronto was like the very bottom with the tandems they have. And I was looking at it, and I was like, honestly, I think the Atlantic Division is like the worst division goaltending wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts. But I did have a listener reach out and say, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Matt's smoking some good stuff.
What the hell is your co-host doing? What is your co-host thinking? Why the fuck am I listening to this? Yeah. I don't know. It's not much to say. It got really depressing toward the Blackhawks Coyotes.
Yeah, especially where they're in the same division. You know, if it was like, if there was one dog in the division, you're like, all right, we can talk about it a little bit. Like, now it's 2 of them. It's like, oh, I kind of just want to move on from this crap.
Right. The more we talked about it, the more I was putting the pieces together. I was like, oh, God, it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I don't like this. Nope. We can stop now.
Not at all.
What else?
Post-to-post picks. We already talked about that, right?
We
what
did.
Was it?
Brandon Duhane. More pims or less pims than
Gotcha.
last season.
Gotcha.
Bars set at 122.
And then for everyone on who follow my Instagram, I'm going to do another thing. Brian Elliott versus Jake Allen. Because we talked about
I think they're the same.
You think they're the same?
Yeah.
I don't.
Who do you think is better?
That's why I want to put a poll up there to see if anyone
Who do you
else
think is
thinks
better,
something
Brian Elliott or Jake Allen?
I think. Oh my God.
They're the fucking same, dude. I'm telling you.
I'll be curious what other people think, because I'm on the fucking cusp of just someone.
Because they're the same, dude. And Halak is better than both of them. Just a fact.
Facts of life, right there.
We pulled it up last week. Remember, their stats were like identical, and then Halak was slightly better.
Yep. I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah.
But with that said, I got nothing else, to be honest. I've been burning out here, but we got one more. We got one more division left.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Pacific next week.
Pacific next week, and then get started right into the NHL season.
Yeah, we got a preseason starting up soon. I believe the 24th is going to be the first scheduled preseason game for the NHL, so that's good.
I've been breaking down all these too on our YouTube at Around the Boards for all of our listeners. So our YouTube channel is Around the Boards.
Yeah, if you have a specific team that you want to see broken down, Matt chopped them up into little 5-10 minute segments, and you can check it out and not have to listen to us for 4 hours straight.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Right?
Yep. If you want to look up the 2022-2023 Bruins, it's right there on our YouTube too. You could just go to our saved save lists, and I have the division breakdown, so you can click on that and just see all the videos we have up. I have them, so I download them. I do them every day. We're good to go for like another month.
Yeah.
So, yep. With that said, I think we're done.
Time to rip a nip.
Time to rip one. So I got Jim Beam Honey, which I think I did last week or the week before, and I was not a fan of it.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I got Doctor's Butterscotch again, like I did last week.
Sick bastard.
Yeah, you bought it, not me. I like the mint.
No, you're the one who bought that, didn't you?
Why the fuck would I buy butterscotch, Matt? Thank
I
you.
know.
Cheers.
Biz. Oh, you know what? Not as bad. Nope. Give me a second. Ooh. Jim Beam. Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. What's your go-to if you were to have one?
Neither, but Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, yeah.
The Jack Daniels Winter Jack is really good. The white bottle. It's like a honey, but like kind of cinnamony, but it's not like Fireball. It's good.
A white bottle?
Yeah. It's called Winter Jack.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
good.
had something today that you hated. It was like an IPA or something. It was really good. The pumpkin one?
Yeah. Yep.
Those are really good. I think we're going to start seeing that soon with like all the alcohol too. Like around this time, we're going to see like all the like pumpkin spice and getting ready for.
Oh, buddy, it's been out since
Oh,
first
it's
week
been
of
out?
August. Yeah. There's
Not a
pumpkin
big-
beer all over the stores.
I'm not a big beer guy at all, but when we first started the podcast, you showed me the Shipyard Pumpkinhead, and I just got hooked on those.
Yeah,
Like,
those are good.
damn,
Know what
those
they
are good.
released last year
What?
and they came out with again this year? Is Pumpkinhead Seltzer.
What?
6-pack seltzer that's like Shipyard Pumpkinhead.
I'm telling you, seltzers are the way to go. You go
Yeah.
to a packing now, and they have like the Jameson mixed.
Those are
stuff,
different
Tito's
technically, but
mixed.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like seltzers and like mixed drinks now
Yeah.
on the go. Those
Yeah.
are like the big things. It's making money because I've been buying them.
That's right.
But that's it. That's it for this podcast. That's it for the episode.
All right. We will see you all next week for the Pacific Breakdown. Very much looking forward to that one. Thank you for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description. And Matt and I will see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.